Oh. Hey. Sorry, didn't realize that it was recording. Well, welcome to another episode of Bearded Joe's Beer Review, where we put beers through a 4-point inspection. 1, visual representation of the label, color of the beer. 2, aromatics. 3, taste. And 4, just your overall enjoyment of the beer. Today, we are reviewing the Bearded Theologian by Cabin Boys Brewery. In 2010, Jeff McBroy had an idea. His son Austin, family, and friends helped come together and built a cabin in the woods, making Jeff's idea a reality. The McBroy family had weddings, reunions, and of course, conversation of good beer. This led to Austin's wife, Lisa, convincing him to brew his own beer. And this hobby led to his dad sending Austin to the World Brewing Academy in Chicago and Germany for brewing education. Now, Lisa developed the brand, and that is how we now have Cabin Boys Brewing. It is located in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It is a Belgian quad coming in at 8.4% alcohol content. Now, the flavors coming in are raisins, caramel, cinnamon, and other spices as well. And then Lisa is also the one that came up with most of the labels with Cabin Boy Brewery. So we're going to show that in just a moment. And today on the show, we also have Stacy Taylor from Oklahoma City. He was one of our first applicants, and we're finally able to get him on the show today. And he comes highly regarded and just really excited to have him on the show, really excited to have this beer. And so without further ado, let's welcome Stacy Taylor to the show. Well, Stacy, welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
We've been working on this for a while.
Good work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like in between weather, ice, snow. I think the first time was one of the big ice storms that we had here in Oklahoma, and my son and his wife came over, and it's just like, dude, we've got a house full of people. I'm not going to find a fire. Like,
yeah.
Our whole family's loud and crazy like that, so it's like, not going to happen. No. Just reschedule food.
I get that. This time my kids are kind of going to sleep, so it makes it a little bit easier. And they're a little bit older now, but my goodness. Yes. Dogs barking, kids screaming, kids crying, dishes dropping.
I think so. Those were the seasons before now. Like this is a cool season. My oldest is 21. My youngest is 19, so it's like no problems there. It's like don't have to worry about the kids.
Nice. All right, yeah. So Stacy, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Right on. So let's see. In my 50s, believe it or not, I know the silver tends to give it away, but you know, been married for 28 years.
Nice.
So that's been awesome. Get two boys, 21 and 19. That's kind of the long and the short of it, man. I run a company here. I did graphic design for about 20 years. Have my own graphic design web business. And then just kind of things shifted. You know, took me in a different direction about 5-6 years ago. Got into home remodeling, handyman work, and then eventually just kind of segued into the whole wood window industry. So, you know, it's a very niche market. There's like nobody doing it, and it's fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Get to go into some great homes, homes built in the early 1900s, late 1800s.
Wow! And
to be able to work on those wood windows and just kind of bring them back to life, and that's awesome. I mean, I really enjoy it.
That's awesome. You know, I know nothing to do with like handiwork. I feel like I'm that Tim Taylor from Home Improvement that breaks everything.
More power.
But he tries.
But see, I am the Taylor.
Yeah.
But I am a Taylor, so you're like, yeah.
Exactly.
I still blow stuff up.
you're in the family line, so
That's right. That's right. It's all in the name. It's all in the name.
awesome.
So it's all good.
Awesome. Well, we're going to chit chat some more in a little bit. I wanted to bring a prop, for our beer today,
Right
the Bearded Theologian.
Yes. Right on.
So I told Joey, I haven't had this in years, but when I just put it in, I was like, oh my gosh, the taste is still there. Yeah.
Yes. And it's like your IQ points. You like gain 50 IQ points by just, putting
Exactly.
putting that pipe right there in the mouth. It's just like, dude, that guy looks really smart.
I know. I hope it gathers more attention and people are like, oh wow, he smokes a pipe.
That's this aura.
Yeah.
That's around, just like, listen to me.
When we originally spoke, I reached out to you, asked you any beers you want to try or you've had, and this was the first beer you mentioned. So is there any history behind it that made you want to drink this again, or that you wanted to have on the show?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a couple of things. One, we used to go to this church in downtown Oklahoma City, and it's just like all the pastors, like they all looked like the artwork on this. And it's just like every single one of them, it's like, dude, like they had the long Old Testament beards. They made my beard feel like inferior. In fact, it was funny because like when I first got there, I had like this just short, like little, it was like a pseudo beard. It's just, I had like a little chin strap, and it was just like, this tiny little goatee thing. And it's like the longer I was around those guys, it's just like my beard just started going, yes, we must grow and be around other manly men. So, like, as soon as I saw this, and of course, I'm a huge local craft beer dude. I want to support all the local breweries 100%. And so this is actually a brewery that is out of Tulsa. And I love ales. And it just kind of caught my eye when I was looking at the artwork. Because, I don't know how many other people, judge a beer by its cover, but I do. Because I look at it, and if it's something that catches my eye, perfect example, I was in Ohio. I was at this restaurant called the Winking Lizard. They have the tour of beers. Just hundreds and hundreds of beers. And I'm going through this list. And there's just name after name after name. And so as soon as I saw the name Troganator, which is a double bock, I was like, dear God. And then they brought it out, and it was just like this big, ugly, mean, troll-looking, funky thing. And like, I'm the Troganator. And I was like, I must drink this now. And so it was like the same thing when I saw this. I was just like, absolutely. Bearded Theologian, love the beard. It's an ale. Yes, I must drink it.
Awesome. Yeah, man. I tell people that I buy beer based off the label. Yes, if someone recommends it, I'll get it. But if I'm just cruising the liquor store, I always look at the label.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's my first impression.
In fact, one of my other favorite stouts, I usually go for stouts, but on this one I was like, let's go with an ale. This one's a really good ale. So one of my favorite stouts is by Yeti. Bigfoot. I'm like, yes, Bigfoot would drink this. Absolutely, 100%.
Exactly. Yeah, man, I'm with you. I love this label. Now, I don't have a beard this long.
Right. No. Obviously, neither do I. This is like 4 or 5 years growing this. That's it. It's like my Irish DNA just says, nope, that's all you get.
Do you trim it on a regular basis?
No, it's just like if it gets like fuzzy, like about every 2 or 3 days, I've got to put some oil in it, put my wood comb through it, because you got to be able to love the beard.
Right.
Because you don't want to use hard bristles and stuff because, it can tear out the hairs. But yeah, just about, probably every 2 or 3 days, put a little oil in it, rub the wood comb through it. And then I just, kind of just trim off like some of the little fuzzies, because I start looking like a prickly pear. Looking homeless, as my wife calls me. She's like, you're looking a little homeless, babe. You need to go shave. Okay.
Got to trim it up.
Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, I like this label. When I saw it at the store, you recommended it and picked it up. It reminded me of just like reading an old book and just chilling and just enjoying life. That's what this guy's doing.
Oh, absolutely. You just picture him sitting out on the back porch There's like pine trees as far as you can see, and he's just like, I'm absolutely going to read this deep theological dissertation,
Exactly.
and I'm just going to enjoy it because I have the most wonderful quad Belgian ever, and an awesome book. Like, dude, I'm set.
Yep, it's good. So let's crack this open and see what it looks like.
Absolutely.
Oh, I can already smell it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the aromatics?
It's like dates. It's like it's sweet, little raisin, but it's like it's not fruity.
No. I can definitely smell like a hint of raisins.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, it's got like some dates and some fig in it.
Yeah. And just the color of it is really good. I'm holding up to my light, and it's just that good quad, almost like a brownish reddish tint to it.
Yeah. In fact, I personally will not drink anything that is not at least this dark.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm more of a stout guy, so it's like crude oil.
Right.
But occasionally, I'll dial it back a little bit, and I'll say, okay, I'll go for a Belgian. I'll go for a quad. Yeah, absolutely.
It depends. For me, it depends on the season. And like I live in Florida, and so the winter is very small here. And so when it is, I'm big on stouts. I'm big on porters. But then when it gets like really hot and humid, I kind of stay away from the porters. And go more towards a little bit lighter. Not like a lager per se, but maybe a step above that.
Sure. Okay. So I didn't completely tell the 100% truth. So I will occasionally drink something a little bit lighter. So Shiner Bock, and I haven't seen it in a year or so, but they actually have one. It's like a prickly pear.
Mm-hmm.
So again, not super sweet, but it's not like super hoppy or anything. And I tell you what, like after I've been mowing the lawn, like it is absolutely perfect. I'll just go to the beer fridge out in the garage, and I'll just grab one of those suckers and it goes straight down. Either that or like they've got a ruby red, and again, it's pretty mild as well. But I mean, those are definitely they're lighter ones, and I think I've had an IPA once, and then I probably would never drink it again. But that's just me.
Yeah, you either love IPAs or you don't.
I do not. I just not a fan. Like it's just a little bitter, a little too citrusy for me. The only one I ever had, again, it was a local brewery, is Coop, the Coop F5. I was actually in the Upper Crust pizza place here in Oklahoma City, and I'd never had it before, so they brought it out, and I'm looking at it going, But I noticed inside of it, the waiter or the bartender had put just a small slice of grapefruit in it. And I thought, well, that's different. Okay. And I mean, I do like me some grapefruit. So I thought, okay, what the heck, I'll try it. And I actually liked it. I liked it better with that little slice of grapefruit. Now, that was, again, the last time I ever had an IPA, but just saying, if you ever had the chance, F5, little slice of grapefruit made it pretty good. So
I've had the F5. And I want to talk more about why, kind of talking about labels again. Let's try this beer and see what we think.
Absolutely. Cheers. Yeah, just as good as I remember.
It is good. It's not too raisiny.
No.
And that's a good thing for me. To be honest, when I looked at the flavor or the flavors, I saw raisins. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh no, I don't like raisins. And
Oh,
so I was a little nervous.
right.
One of the beers, like I hardly would ever toss a beer.
Yeah.
I was in Dallas and we were on I don't know if we were on an anniversary or we just took a trip. But I got a beer. I think it was a Samuel Smith or Samuel
Mm.
Adams, one of those two.
Sammy Adams. Yeah. Yep.
Um, and I got it, poured it. I actually didn't bring a bottle opener, so I used the faucet and the bathtub at a hotel. Probably not the greatest idea, but it's what I had. And I poured it into those little plastic cups, and I hated it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. Now, it was kind of at the beginning of my beer journey, so that
Right.
may have something to do with it.
I'm
Um,
sure.
but I was like, what's in this? I looked at it. First thing was raisins, but that was like the only flavor. There wasn't anything else. It was like they got a bunch of raisins, grinded it, and put it in the beer. Um,
So then you're looking at this one, I'm like, dude, you got to try the Bearded Theologian. And then you're just like, I hate you.
yeah,
Like,
I was so nervous. I was like,
it's like,
no, we're going to get it. I'm going to try it. The label's awesome. And I'm not disappointed for sure. I'm actually well pleased. It exceeded my expectation
good.
for sure.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
Stacey, tell me a little bit about your beer journey. I know, you said some things about kind of starting later in life.
Yep.
But tell me about your beer journey and maybe a couple beers you have in your fridge.
Right on. So the long and the short of it is, so growing up, I heard like all these stories from my dad about his dad, and he was this raging alcoholic. I go 6'2", 250, so I'm a decent sized guy. He was like well past that and 300 plus pounds. And he would just come home and was just a raging alcoholic, which is horrible to, my dad and his brothers and sisters. So this was the picture of like what alcohol does, at its worst in a home. So growing up, I was just scared to death. It's like, dude, I didn't even touch alcohol till I was, in my late 30s. Like I didn't try it at all, like nothing. And so when I finally got to the point where I was like, okay, and it sounds crazy, I was over at this bachelor party. And again, it sounds a little crazier than it is. It was actually just me and a really close friend of mine, and it was his soon-to-be brother-in-law. So it's just like, okay, whatever. So we're just all hanging out, and he had this German beer. To this day, I don't know what it was. But he's like, oh, you need to try this beer. I was like, dude, I hate beer. Like the only thing I'd ever put in my mouth was like Miller Lite, Coors or something. It was something horrible and god awful. Like, don't ever, ever, ever drink that stuff.
No.
Because it's terrible. Anyway, sidebar. But that's like the only experience I'd had with beer. It was horrible. And again, the background history of my family. I was just like, okay, well, fine. Yeah, I'll go ahead and try this. Oh, my sweet Lord. I seriously wish I knew what that was. It just tasted like liquid bread. I think it might have been a Hefeweizen or something. But it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. It just tasted like liquid bread. I was like, oh, dear Lord, this is not beer. He said, no, that's beer. I said, dude, that's not domestic beer. He's like, no, that's craft beer. I said, okay, cool. So that kind of started the whole thing because I was like, oh, dear gosh. Like, if this is what beer can taste like, then what else is out there? Like, I had never had anything. I didn't know the difference between a stout and a Belgian or a Scottish ale and a Pilsner. Like, I had no clue. Like, what a double bock. What is this, do you say? That's a little lame. Maybe I should go find one of those and drink it. So, like, that's just where it just kind of took off from there. I began to search out, like I said, a lot of the local craft breweries. One of my personal favorites here is Coop. The one that I typically have on hand, and I almost suggested this one to you for this one, was Coop DNR, because, again, it's another of my favorite Belgians. Just incredible.
I've had that one. That was really good.
Yeah, I mean, I've had that one on tap at Coop. It was just like beautiful. Love
Nice.
it. But again, I wanted to do something a little more exotic, and went with the Cabin Boys with the Bearded Theologian. So I'd normally have some DNR out there. Another one of my favorite breweries is Twisted Spike. And so they have got a stout there called the Black Snake. It's just super, super tasty. Oh my gosh. Like I usually get a growler, like when I'm in there. I'm just like, yes, I'm going to have this like nice, tall, just big mug stout, but you're going to have to fill this one up for me because I need more later.
Nice.
So that's just, and that's just kind of like that's the 20,000 foot, overview right there. Cause like, there's so much more to it. And there's so many beers. In fact, we used to have a Bible study in my house, and it was, we called it Fight Club, and it was Bible, beer, and bros. And we would it was bring your own beer. We'd all just, put new beers out on our kitchen counter, and everybody would say, okay, whatever you didn't bring, you're trying one. Right? And so we'd all just crack it open, and then we would sit around, shooting the bull, and then we'd talk a little Jesus. And it was awesome. Like that was probably where I really expanded it a lot too, because there were guys bringing all kinds of stuff. So
that's awesome. Yeah. It's always good to support the local beers,
Right.
And, I grew up in Oklahoma City. And so I've had several of those beers. I'm a big weather guy. So that F5, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to try this. And then now I live in Tampa. Exactly. And now I live in Tampa. And so I'm experiencing all the local craft beer here. And I have in my mind, I'm like, man, I got to go just live at these different places for, 5-6 years at a time just to try their breweries.
Absolutely.
There's so many breweries here in Tampa. And there are a couple kind of like the F5 weather related. There's
probably a lot of stuff that's like Hurricane out there.
Right.
And Gator.
Right. Yeah. So there's a category, like category 5. There's a Hurricane Hunter. So many different types of like beers here. That's weather related. And then there's one that's by Cigar City, made after a famous person here called Florida Man. And Florida Man will make you do some crazy things. Yes. Florida Man, I drank one, and like I picked up a alligator, rode with my boxers on a bicycle backwards going through Walmart, stealing other people's groceries. So,
right.
Florida Man just makes
you... hurricane, and then rode the hurricane back home.
Exactly. Yeah. Florida Man just makes you do crazy things. And you don't have to have a lot. Yeah. Just one sip.
Man, I tell you, it was great.
So, yeah, I'm all about supporting local breweries. So that's awesome. So what you mentioned a couple, about your beers. What's your go-to beer? Like what's a beer that, not maybe your favorite, but a beer that's like in a budget go-to beer that you get on a regular basis? It doesn't have to be budget. I just don't mean like a beer that's like one bottle costs you like $15. So this would be a budget, like a go-to beer.
Okay. Honestly, the Bearded Theologian. It's actually really good. It's a 4-pack. You're not, getting a 6, so got to drink 6 of them. So there's just, 4 there. I will admit I'd already drank one of those, so I'm down to only 2 now. I'm a little bit sad, but it's okay. I'll live. I'll be fine. I would say, so the opposite of that question would be, which one would I buy that's premium? I can answer that one without question, right? Yeah. So there was a short brew. It was a microbrew. It was just a short run by a brewery around here called Chalk.
Yeah.
And I'm still sad because the name of it was Whiskey Barrel Quad. That was the most incredible, like little 10 ounces of just pure heaven. Just the most incredible. Like you can't find it anymore because it was just a microbrew. It was a short run. That was it. When I realized they weren't going to be making it anymore, I immediately hit like every liquor store within like 5 miles of my house. I was like, I have to buy all of them. I must have all the rest of these right now because it has to go in my face. Because I have to say, if something is angry good, you're just like, oh dear God, this is angry good because I am mad it hasn't been in my mouth before now. This was angry good, Whiskey Barrel Quad, and I to this day have one single bottle left because I am saving that one for the day that my first grandchild is born. So, I mean, that's like in the very back side, hidden, protected. You know, it's in its own little protected case, you know, break in case of emergency or, you know, first grandchild. Do not touch.
That takes so much discipline. You know, yeah.
I'm telling you, like, because it's my favorite. Like, and I want to drink it. It's like I go in there, and especially if I'm getting low, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, not happening.
I can't. I don't have that much discipline, to be honest with you. I mean, like I had, again, we've been trying to do this for a while, and I had this beer in my fridge since we spoke, whenever that was, and I haven't had one because I wanted to try it on the show for the first time, and it's been sitting there every day. I opened up the fridge, and this guy, he's just looking at me like, "Drink me. Why haven't you had me yet?" And now I had. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so
drink me.
It's good.
Yeah, I know.
It's good. So yeah, I'm with you. That's awesome though. It's good to have those beers that you can hold on to. I have now that you mentioned that, I have to go back to see if I've had that before.
Whiskey Barrel Quad.
Okay.
Dude,
by Chalk, you said, right?
Yes, by Chalk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, it's like, and I look, like, every time I go anywhere, I look and just see if they have any of them. So, like, at the very end, when they were, like, at the end of the run, there was, like, this one little end cap at one of the liquor stores up here, Sean's. And I went in, and, like, they had probably 12, and they were $16 a piece.
Oh, wow.
Tiny little guy. I'm like,
yeah.
I was like, I'll take them all.
That's how some of those beers are.
No question. Like, yeah, just load them up right now. Put them in a box. I'll take them all.
So we were talking a little bit about this before too, and you know, not try to like stereotype you or myself, but you think you would look at yourself, and one thing you mentioned that you're big into Hallmark movies.
Big time.
And I would look at you, and I would not think that you were into Hallmark movies. So tell me a little bit about that. Like, what got you into Hallmark movies? Like, what's your favorite? I mean, I know they're all alike, but you know, like, what got you into those?
So it's funny. Okay, so that would be my wife. I mean, I say that, my wife. So a lot of guys want to just like blame their wife and say, oh, well, she likes the Hallmark movies, and so we sit around and watch it. So I mean, that's the husbands that do say, okay, yeah, I want to do something my wife does, because there's obviously dudes out there, they're just like, no, absolutely not. I would rather die. I do enjoy them. I do, because I think part of that is it's just like I've always had this appreciation for kind of production, and I'm just a sap sometimes, dude. I seriously am. I'm just a sucker. I cry. I mean, like every year when we, the last Christmas movie we watch every year, we watch one from the first day. Well, actually from Thanksgiving night, we watch the Santa Claus with Tim Allen, and then we watch a different Christmas movie like every single day until Christmas Day. And then Christmas Day, we watch A Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life. And my whole family there, both my boys, my oldest son's wife, we're all sitting around, and they all stare at me at the end. You know, he's got everybody, and they're all singing Old Lang Syne, and I'm just like, and I don't care. Like, I'm just like, I'm a big enough dude. I'm just like, shut up. So, yeah, I mean, we just, I can't blame it on life, but, I do enjoy them. They're cheesy, sappy. I mean, there's just so much in life, dude, that's just negative and depressing. And sometimes it's nice to be able to sit down, watch something, and yes, it's predictable. Oh my gosh, something's going to happen. There's going to be some kind of like point in the movie. In fact, I call it the oh no. And so my wife now looks at me because when the oh no happens, I say, oh no, they're not going to make it. So it's like every one of them. I mean, because that's part of the plot, tick, 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 tick. And here comes the oh no, the misunderstanding, and oh, now she's going to leave, and they're not going to get married, and oh no. And she's like, it'll be fine. And of course it is. Like 30 seconds later, the sister comes in and she reveals all things, and then then he comes back, and then they kiss. And my favorite line out of all those is like, all right, kiss, and like fade to black, roll the credits. And it's over. Like,
and then the credits with the descending camera on an open field and the sunset.
drone shot.
Yeah.
There they go. Yeah. Just anyway.
I'm with you. Like, I'm not going to judge. Like, I have my wife, my daughter, and then my son. I think I'm the most like sensitive when it comes to those movies. And I'm not a big like Hallmark fan like all the other movies. I'll watch them. I'm big on the Christmas movies. But I've always been a fan of like princess movies. And then when I had a daughter, and I was like, yes, I have someone to watch princess movies with, and no one looks at me weird. And so I'm with you. I'm sensitive. I cry too. Like my daughter got baptized the other day, and I was like, I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. And
no, you totally did.
Yeah, I did a little bit. Not as bad as I thought I was going to, but I did. And I know she's 12 and she has many years. But I know when she gets married, I already know I'm gonna like be bawling my eyes out, and so I'm gonna have some kind of thing in my pocket that like I can squeeze and like hurt my hand. I'm like,
you can try.
Yeah,
you can try.
It won't work.
I mean, but both of my sons, when they were both baptized the first time, I got to do it, which was awesome. Our church allowed me to be in there and to baptize them. And dude, I stood there and just cried. I was like, it doesn't get any better than this. Years later, our whole family are musicians. So I played acoustic. My oldest played drums. My youngest played bass. And then Mama, would lead worship. And I would sing some backup and occasionally lead here and there. And one of the first times that we all played together and led worship as a family, I just stood there and just cried. Yeah. I was just so thankful, man. I was like, man, God, you had just given me an incredible opportunity to be able to share my love of music with my family. And not only that, but we're all sharing that love and just adoration towards you. It's like, man, it doesn't get any better than this. Like, that's incredible.
That's awesome.
And then last year, then I got the opportunity to actually marry my son and his now wife.
Oh, really?
And,
cool.
Dude, that's a whole different level, man. That's a whole nother level of just intense emotions, man. Because, he's up here and, here comes his bride to be, and we had gotten to know her, and she just becomes just such an incredible, close part of our family. I mean, it was such an answer to prayer, to have her come into our son's life and into our life. And then to see her walking down the aisle, I was just like, nope.
Yeah.
And I barely made it through it until like the very end, because everything was scripted. Like, I had my tablet out and I was just reading. I had just a couple of, probably about 4-minute little, semi-sermon just to talk with them, and then at the very end, it was just prayer. I didn't script that out. That was a mistake. I got about 3 sentences in and I just started crying because I was just overwhelmed, man. I was just like, oh, this is awesome. This is incredible. It's like my son and this incredible woman. And I had the honor of being able to bring them together in marriage. And like, dude, it was overwhelming at that point. And like, everybody was like, oh, you made it till the very end. I was like, yeah, because I didn't script it. I didn't write that out. I knew everything else.
That's cool. I'm sure that's an honor. That's an honor for sure.
Oh, it's awesome, dude. It was awesome.
When we got married, my wife and I, she had her like pastor as a childhood marry us.
Oh,
and
wow.
and she was in the military, or not she was in the military, her parents were. And so this pastor was their pastor when they were in Europe. And so anyways, really cool guy. He marries us. We reception and everything. The next day, he was going to do a sermon at her grandparents' house. And so she really wanted to go. So we went, and we first got there. He comes up and he was like, guys, he was like, I forgot to do the vows. And
it's just that little thing.
Yeah. So we've been married for almost 14 years, and we never officially done our vows. So, but
that's hilarious.
we're still there.
And did you okay? You did.
Yeah, exactly. Just, unofficially, but not officially.
It's officially unofficial.
Exactly. We signed the paper, so I guess that counts.
I think as long as you do that, you're sending your money to the state and the city. They're like, okay, you're good.
Yeah, they get their portion. So,
but God already saw it. But know, it's like they got to make sure it's like, yeah, man, whatever.
Very good. So, kind of going back to the beer. Now I know you've had this before, which is okay, but based off of like the label, based off of the color, based off of the aromatics and just the overall your enjoyment, whether that's from nostalgic or whatever it is, what would you rate this beer from like 1 to 5 or 1? Let's do 1 to 10.
2 and 10. I would give it a solid 7. A solid 7.
Okay. Very, very
again,
good.
I've got my whiskey barrel quads out there. My Yetis. Those are the top of the iceberg there, the top tier. But I would definitely say, overall, again, I love the artwork, and I love the color. Definitely love the flavor and love the taste. So yeah, I give it a solid 7, man.
Nice. Yeah, I'm really right there with you. I love this label. Like, it just reminds me of me reading a book. Like now of course my beard's not that cool. That guy put a lot of wax in his beard. Let's be honest. Okay.
Dude,
so,
especially to get like that kind of like wrap around and it's holding
right.
the book.
Right.
Like I can't do that.
Like,
I can hold some food, but my wife got onto me, earlier when I was eating dinner and had this hamburger and I'm going to town on it right there. And she looks at me, she's like, "You've got food in your beard." I'm like, "I'm saving that for later."
Exactly. You save it for later. But my beard doesn't turn the pages for me.
It's not that strong.
Yeah.
My beard food is strong, but it's not that strong.
Exactly. But the label's cool. I really like it. I think the color of it, just the beigeish can color, is really nice. It kind of brings out the actual artwork better.
Yeah.
I love the name, Bearded Theologian. That's just kind of a cool name. The color of the beer is nice. It looks like a quad. It's not too dark, not too light.
Right.
The aromatics, I do have the raisin smell of it. It's not too strong, but I can still smell it.
Yeah.
So that's more of a personal thing than an actual anything else. I don't like raisins. I don't like the look of them. I don't like the feel of them. I don't like the smell of them or the taste.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But the taste well exceeded my expectations. I was thinking I was probably going to rate this just a 5, just because, mainly just because of the raisins alone. Yeah. Right. But I'm with you. I was going to go with the exact same number as you, 7. So
great minds, great beards think alike.
Great minds, great beards think alike. So any beer that gets a 7 or higher gets the Bearded Joe's beer review stamp of approval. So we can do a stamp. And
it must be because it's like, isn't it like National Beer Day?
It is National Beer Day. Yes, it is.
That's right.
I posted something today on it. Now they're not, you guys aren't going to see this video for quite a while,
Right.
But this is filmed on one of the greatest days of the year, National Beer Day.
National
So
Beer Day.
I don't want to.
The Bearded Theologian.
Right. So I hope you guys are enjoying a beer, not a seltzer. And by the way, did you buy my? Did you actually think I was being truthful?
Dude, I did. Okay, so you threw me. I'm gonna be honest. You got me simply because I've been so busy. So understand. Like on Tuesdays, we have this leadership class at our church.
Real quick, let's tell the backstory of what I did.
Yes.
Yeah, April 1st, April Fool's Day, as we all know.
Yep.
I sent Stacy and then Joey, the producer of the show, a message. I was like, "Hey, Stacy," I was like, "I know we already got this beer for you, but as of today, I'm changing to Bearded Joe's seltzer reviews." And then Stacy responds like, "I'm cool with whatever. I can talk about with whatever." Now, so go ahead and go.
So I mean, I look at that, and I mean, that's when I responded really quick, on the phone. I was just like, okay, whatever. Like, if you want to do seltzers, you're like, hey, I'll have to try to figure out how to get you something, before then. I was like, well, that's going to be kind of hard since you're in Florida, I'm in Oklahoma City, but okay. And seltzers. All right, well, dude, I can literally talk about anything. Like, my wife tells me all the time, she's like, you can talk to a brick wall. I said, yes, I could. So, like, I don't care what we're drinking. Like, I just want to shoot the bull and drink something. So I didn't even think about it, right? Because, like, on Tuesday nights, we've got this leadership class, and so I've been up there at the church for that. Wednesday nights, we help lead a small group, and so, like, this week, I was teaching, and I was leading that group, and it's just been crazy with work. And then this last weekend, we had an aunt and uncle that were in town, Debbie and Paul from Ohio. It's my wife's aunt and uncle, and so we spent the whole weekend with them. So, dude, my brain was just, like, locked in. And I saw that as like seltzers. Okay, whatever. Okay, cool. We're good. So you totally got me, dude. You totally.
Awesome. Yeah, it's funny. Then Joey came on and was like, "You're lying. You hate seltzers."
Yeah, I saw that like a few days later, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, you got me."
That's very good. Yeah. So everyone on National Beer Day, I know you guys are going to see this a few weeks later, but don't enjoy seltzer on National Beer Day. Enjoy a beer. Don't enjoy Bud Light. Don't enjoy Michelob. Don't enjoy.
Those are not beers.
Coors. And I don't care if you go get the lightest 2% alcohol content lager. That's a craft brewery.
I will accept a Zima before I accept Coors Light.
Yeah.
I'm going old school.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. So just enjoy a beer.
Right.
Whatever you get.
100%.
So
beer or not. It's National Beer. It's not National Beer Day. It's National Beer Day.
Nice. So enjoy beer. It is not Bearded Joe Seltzer reviews. I may, if the mood strikes right and someone begs me to be on the show and wants to try a seltzer, I will. But it's not going
to be me.
It's not going to be a regular basis. Prairie Artisanal is one of my favorite breweries in Oklahoma.
Oh, that's tasty. Yes.
They make great beer, but they made a seltzer. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this seltzer because I love this brewery. I hate seltzers, so maybe it's somewhere in the middle. And it was not.
Completely hate it.
It was not. Prairie didn't disappoint me. I'm not knocking Prairie because they're still a great brewer. It just confirmed that I don't like seltzers, even from one of the best breweries out there. I don't like seltzers. So
not gonna happen.
Yeah,
not gonna happen.
That's it. But I'm big. I love April Fools. Getting my kids, getting my wife. Joey and I were talking, and I played the trick on her, and I need to add a couple more things. But I added it on her phone that when her battery gets full or her battery gets too low, it says something like Siri comes on. When she charges her phone, I play a trick on her and it says, "Ouch! You just plugged that into my butt." And then when her battery gets full, it says, "Battery full, time to get jiggy with it." And then when it gets low, it's like, "Coffee, I need coffee." And she doesn't know how to turn it off, which is even better.
Even better.
But the next one I'm going to do is when she gets a text message from me, it's going to say something that's kind of a little provocative, maybe, and do it like in front of all her friends.
Just a little naughty.
Yeah, a little naughty, and do it in front of all her friends. So, and she's like, "Oh my gosh," or maybe in front of her parents. I don't know.
You're going to be like,
yeah. Like, I don't know, like, Krista, I don't know why you have that on your phone for my text message, but you may need to change it.
Weird, babe. Why'd you do that? That's a little awkward for me. Like,
exactly.
I think you need to like take some quiet time, go outside,
Yeah.
think about what you've done.
Well, Stacy, man, it's been so much fun having you on the show.
Right on, man.
I know it's been a while, so we got to do this again. So,
dude, I would absolutely love to.
I love your shirt, by the way.
Right on. Right on. Thank you.
I feel like it's a little knock on me, but that's all right.
It's nothing personal.
No, nothing personal. No. I don't take it personal.
I was just bringing some beard food love,
Very, very good. So. I like it. Well, I have to get me one of those shirts someday. So,
I can do that.
Very, very good. Well, again, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been so much fun. Thank you for recommending this beer. Stacy, you did change my mind on raisin flavored beer. From that time, I don't know how many years ago. It was at least 15, well, maybe 12 years ago. I don't know if it was a baby or if it was before she was born.
It was traumatic.
But it was traumatic. It wasn't good. Maybe it was a combination of opening the beer with a bathroom faucet that's probably hasn't been cleaned in years, or one of those old plastic cups for water that they individually wrap in those plastic things.
Right. You're not really sure where it's been.
Exactly.
But they wrap it in plastic and that's safe. Yeah.
Right. It was probably used as like a urinal test at a hospital, and they were like, "Oh,
more than likely.
Here's an extra cup."
Yes, Mr. Jones, we need a urine sample, please.
Exactly. So you changed my mind. I didn't think I would ever try another beer with raisins, and so to that, cheers. You have opened my world to.
Almost.
I know I'm. You're a little bit further than I am. So, well, don't here. All right, cheers. There we go. But all right, man. Well, thanks for being on the show. And then we'll definitely have you back on. All right. So if there's something I missed on this beer, please comment below. Also, if there's a beer that you would like us to try, please comment below as well. And make sure you subscribe so you can see all videos from Bearded Joe's Beer Reviews, and hit that bell as well. If you're listening on like a podcast, make sure you leave a 5-star review if you're liking it. If you don't like it, you can still leave a 5-star review. I would appreciate it. And also on Patreon, Patreon, / Bearded Joe's Beer Reviews. If you're really enjoying the show, I would definitely appreciate your support. Tiers start as low as $5 a month, and you get a lot of cool stuff with it as well. So make sure you check out Patreon, Bearded Joe's Beer Reviews. And as always, here at Bearded Joe's Beer Reviews, we believe alcohol is meant to be a gift to enjoy and not as an escape. So until next time, friends, drink responsibly. Cheers. Stacy, you got to cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
There we go.